अच्छा आयशा हेलो
Yes, sir.
आप लाइव हैं, सेशन स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं अभी आप।
ओके अस्सलाम वालेकुम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम good evening everyone. It's my pleasure to present you on the today's webinar as a biological control innovations for sustainable pest management in agroecosystems. Starting from my introduction, I'm Dr. Hafiz Mushtaq, currently serving as a scientific officer at Pakistan Agricultural Research Council. Those who don't know about Pakistan Agricultural Research Council, it's an apex agricultural research body which has its research establishments throughout Pakistan, and the National Agricultural Research Center is one of the largest establishment which is based in Islamabad. And I'm working in National Agricultural Research Center, and my focus here on research and development of biological control based pest management in agroecosystems. Today, we will discuss these outlines related with the introduction of IPM biological control, its concept, and different types of biological control. What are the challenges? What are the opportunities in applied biological control? And what are the innovations? What we are did in Pakistan and we are currently doing, and what is the global scenario related to the applied biological control. And at the end, we will conclude the today's discussion. As we most of the agricultural graduates are familiar that what is going on in the agroecosystem, that the agriculture is under pressure due to the excessive and unjudicious use of pesticides, and its harmful impact on either direct or indirect on humans' health, and the biodiversity loss and the development of pesticide resistance in insect pests. So, what could be the alternative of chemicals? Definitely, if we talk about an alternative of chemicals, the first thing came to in our mind is about the biological control, how we can utilize the biological control in our agroecosystem for the sustainable pest management of various agricultural pests which are actually causing severe losses to our horticultural and agronomic crops, and which are a major and big threat to the food security. So, at the start, we have to remind as a student, researcher, or those professionals which are working in the pest management field that biological control itself not a separate entity, it's a component of IPM. And what is IPM? IPM in, in, in a general sense, it goes with the combination of different control measures or the control tactics which can be utilized for the management of agricultural pests in the agroecosystem. However, it's a comprehensive, knowledge based, and an intellectually rigorous approach to managing pest populations in agroecosystems, either it's open field or its protected cultivations like these days greenhouse based or the glasshouse based cultivations is expanding day by day throughout the world. And this IPM combines effective, economically sound, and ecologically compatible methods to suppress the pest population in agroecosystem. How we can recognize the importance of IPM in agroecosystem? The main objective and the role of IPM to be utilized in the agroecosystem is to reduce the application of pesticides in our agricultural crops. And this pest management is vital for healthy and productive agroecosystems to produce the healthy food for the consumption of humans. Farmers can ensure crop health, maximize yield, minimize environmental harm, and contribute to more sustainable and secure food supply. And there are different approaches or the components of the IPM, including cultural, mechanical, biological, and chemical. So, among these different tactics of the IPM, today we will discuss in detail or to try to understand the concept, its application, uh, especially the applied side of the biological control in this discussion. Biological control, if we simply define the biological control, we can say that controlling or managing the harmful life by utilizing the beneficial life. In harmful life, we usually categorize those insects or those organisms which are causing the economic loss to humans, either their property, health, or in the agricultural fields. Whereas the beneficial organisms or beneficial life usually goes with the some kind of biological control agents or natural enemies related with the predators, parasites, and pathogens. And the biological control term actually it's evolving day by day. And if we goes its early definition or the early books, if we go through the literature, we found that the biological control define in different ways, starting from there are many definitions one can find, but now as it evolved, that there are different new technologies or innovations. Sometimes they are confusing, but they have some direct and indirect relation with the living organisms, and one can categorize it under the umbrella of the biological control. So in a more complex way, if we want to define the biological control, we goes with the purposeful natural enemy manipulation to obtain a reduction in a pest population. Here I actually also want to clear one more thing, how we can differentiate a natural control and from biological control. In the natural control, sometimes it closely align with the biological control, but in the natural control there is no interference or the involvement of the human beings. Whereas when we talk about the biological control or especially applied side of the biological control, here is the interference or the involvement of the humans, or as we use the word manipulation, when there is a word manipulation, so it by default understood that here is the involvement of the humans for the it's a purposeful natural enemy manipulation to obtain a reduction in a pest population, which is actually in the agroecosystem. As we are familiar, there are some invertebrate pests, some vertebrate pests, and some there are weeds, which is also considered as pest. So this is I can say that if we talk about the concept, so we need to understand first what is actually the biological control and how it's different from the natural control. And mainly there are three approaches which sometimes we say practices. Sorry. Sometime in the literature we found these practices as categories which goes with the introduction, conservation, and the augmentation. However, maybe if someone go deep, he found that there is another term, redistribution. How so it's my question for the audience, that one can go and try to find the answer. What is redistribution in terms of biological control? Is this the fourth approach of biological control, or there are only three approaches of biological control? So, first of all, the introduction, which is also called as importation or the classical biological control. You know, the classical biological control. When we talk about the classical, so it is the primitive approach that was adopted, and it was the start of the biological control. Here, if we go in detail, it relates with the searching, importing, testing, rearing, and releasing natural enemies of invasive or native pests from exotic homelands to a new locality. So here are two different pests. Either it could be invasive, not a local, or it could be a native pest. But for the native pest, when we want to import a certain exotic natural enemy, a biocontrol agent for controlling a native pest, then there is an other term that one should go and read about it: the neoclassical biological control. So this is another question for the audience, that they should go and try to understand what is mean by neoclassical biological control. While in the generally we deal with the classical biological control for those invasive pests which invaded into a new area, and there is no naturally occurring biocontrol or agent or natural enemies is found there. To control or to suppress its population, one should go its the parent locality or the parent country and try to search and find what is the potential biocontrol agents locally and naturally occurring there. And there is a detailed procedure how to import, then test, rear, and release in the new area where this invasive pest is causing a major problem. Like there is an example, a famous example. The Vidalia beetle was introduced from Australia to America for managing cottony cushion scale on citrus. And if someone go in detail, just go and read the literature. He or she found that this cottony cushion scale was a serious problem in America, and it was an invasive species. And at that time, in America, it was controlled and successfully managed by introducing a predator which is named as a Vidalia beetle from Australia in the citrus orchards in America, and it was successfully controlled by this Vidalia beetle. Uh, Co-evolution is try to understand in this classical biological control, both natural enemies and the pest, they co-evolve together. So when they co-evolve, the natural enemy familiar with the weak points of the pest, and it's by default it's made to control naturally such an invasive species. There are many success stories related with the insect and mite pest. Usually, such type of classical the biological control, this approach usually adopted in the permanent or semi-permanent habitats like forests, orchards. The next approach is conservation biological control. Conservation usually goes with the manipulation manipulation in the agroecosystem in such a way that not only protect and maintain the existing population of natural enemies in an agroecosystem, but also it make the unfavorable conditions for the to increase the population of pests, but it's in favor of the naturally occurring populations of the natural enemies in that agroecosystem. But here in this case, there is no mass production in the laboratory of the natural enemies. There is no such type of releases just to modify or manipulate the agroecosystem. For example, in Pakistan, there is a successful example. Usually, we use the conservation biological control for the management of wheat aphids in the wheat agroecosystem, because in Pakistan there is no such pesticides are recommended for controlling the aphid problem in the wheat. However, the conservation based biological control strategies, like for example the intercropping brassica in the wheat crop in patches or in strips around the borders and between the borders in some patches, it not only enhance the population of the natural enemies, but ultimately it helpful to reduce the population of different aphid species which attacked on the wheat crop. Here, if in the picture you can say that some shelter habitats for overwintering of natural enemies, like in the main crop, between the main crop there is some kind of beetle bank. Beetle bank usually goes with the ladybird beetles. So these places provide the hibernating places, the reproduction or the food source for the natural enemies. And when they multiply here and in the presence of the appearance of the pest, they definitely shift to the main crop and provides a natural control without the application of pesticides. And in the second picture, if you can see some kind of nectar plants or the insectary plants, there is a hedges can grow in between as a row of the between the main crop, which because as we know that usually some of the natural enemies they get their food from the uh, flowers, nectars, and pollens. Like if we can talk about the Chrysopella carnea, which is a famous predator, the adults is not carnivorous, is not a predator. It feeds on the nectar, the honeydew, and lay their eggs on the main crop where is the aphid population is there, and the larvae, when after hatching from the eggs, they feed on the pest population. And one more important thing while dealing with the conservation biological control, the judicious and the selective use of pesticides is very important. That should not harm the population of natural enemies which are naturally occurring in that agroecosystem. And the third approach is augmentation based biological control. This is very important approach of biological control because the commercial aspect and the applied biological control aspect and the biological control commercial industry is actually based on the augmentation biological control, that different potential biocontrol agents are being identified, and they potentially their potential have been evaluated in the laboratory. Then they mass cultured in the bug factories, the insectaries, and the commercial companies. They are producing in hundreds or thousands of numbers, and they are selling these products as an alternative of chemicals. So in the augmentation based biological control, the if we can go with the definition, it's a periodic and intentional release of natural enemies for seasonal or temporary management of a pest. And it's further mainly divided into two steps or categories. The first step is the mass production, and the second step is the field application. And in there are two different ways how the augmentation based biological control is utilized in the agroecosystem. Either it goes with the inoculative releases or the inundative releases. So what about the inoculative releases? Here, after mass culturing in the laboratory or the insectary or any bug factory, a small amount of biocontrol agents released in the field in order to expect that they will multiply in the field and sustain their population and increase their population. And usually, these biocontrol agents release before pest population increase in the field. So sometime these biocontrol agents they released with some alternate food as a supplement food before the pest emergence, so they can build their population. And when there will be pest population appeared in the field, they will fight with the pest population, and they tackle the population in a way they it will not cause economic loss to the main crop. And in the picture, if you can see that this is there is a fluctuation or population dynamics in between a predator and its prey, or a pesticide or its host. That sometime the population of prey, when the population of prey is increases, suddenly the biocontrol agent population also increases, and it there is a point when the prey population or pest population start declining, and vice versa it goes with the passage of time. However, it will this approach and the predator or the biocontrol agent overcome the population in a way that it will not reach to the economic injury level, and just keep below the economic threshold level. Whereas in case of inundative releases, it's we can say that after multiplication of the biological control agents in the laboratory or the factories, a huge number of biocontrol agents, either predators or pesticides, that have been released in the field in a way like the application of chemicals. When we want a sudden decrease in the pest population to avoid the economic injury to the agricultural produce, we can apply the biological control agents by following the inundative release methods under the umbrella of augmentation biological control. And here in this case, there is no reproduction of biocontrol agents is expected that when you release that they will multiply and sustain their population. No, here we want to control or suppress the pest population in a way that it will not cause losses to our agricultural produce. And this is not only a single time releases as in case of the inoculative releases. There are multiple releases to control the pest population. Usually this approach not only apply in the open field conditions. However, this is a this is a very common practice in the protected cultivations, especially in the greenhouses or glass houses. If we talk about in the commercial biological control industry is actually based on this inundative based augmentation biological control. And one thing I want to just highlight here that if one can go in the literature and try to search, he found that he or she found that the inoculative this approach inoculative releases sometime it can be used as a uh, as a parallel term of the classical biological control. So why it can usually in the early concept of biological control, these two type of releases, either inoculative releases or inundative releases, both comes under the umbrella of augmentation biological control. However, recently I went through the literature, I found that in some literature, the inoculative type of biological control is considered as a classical biological control. So here we need to understand or try to investigate deeply why the inoculative releases or the biological control considered as a classical biological control. So here I want to introduce you some predators and pesticides which are potential biological control agents. As I previously told that there is another category of the biocontrol agents which are pathogens. But here I just only discuss in detail about the role of predators and pesticides in sustainable pest management in the agroecosystem. And in the literature, if you go, you found that these predators and pesticides, these are actually the invertebrate biocontrol agents, and also they called as microbials, whereas those pathogens which for example bacteria, fungi and viruses or some other microorganisms, usually those can be utilized to make some biopesticides which considered as microbials. So but the what is in trend these days, the microbials like the predators and pesticides, most of the commercial companies of the biological control agents are using most of their products actually based on the microbials. Either they are the predators or they are pesticides. But there are some latest research work is in under process, or some even some products in the market are available related with the pathogens, which are those organisms or the microorganisms which cause diseases, or which are in the insect population, especially in case of the insect pests. So here are some examples of the microbials. Either they are predators or pesticides, and some major pests, and there are possible examples of some possible predators and pesticides. Like in case of whitefly, if we see here the whitefly, the possible option, we have the incarcia, we have the chrysopella, ladybird beetles, different types. For the aphids, we have Chrysopella larvae, Chrysopella carnea, the larvae of Chrysopella, the larvae of hoverfly, and the ladybird beetles larvae. And also The parasite goes with the aphidius. Here also, in case of spider mites, mealybugs, borers, we have also different options. And these all different pests and their biocontrol agents in our National Agriculture Research Center, in Pakistan Agriculture Research Council, we have been extensively worked on the management of these pests by utilizing these different biocontrol agents, and we have did some great job in last 10 to 15 years, starting from maybe after 2005. Extensively we worked on for the development of different mass production and field application technologies of different potential biocontrol agents like trichogramma and the incarcia, the ladybird beetles, the chrysoperla, and some other parasites we have been reared in the laboratory, and we did some research and development work. In this picture, you can see there are some before actually for rearing any predators, parasites, or their potential host insects in the laboratory. One should go and deeply understand their biology to understand the their life cycle, different identification of their different stages. So in this picture, you can see the eggs of different biocontrol agents and their hosts reared in our insectary biological control lab uh, in National Agriculture Research Center, Islamabad. This is an example of a potential parasite. The most of the entomologists, they are familiar with this parasite, Trichogramma chylonis, which is a potential and a generalist egg parasite. Even I can say that it's a gregarious parasite of different Lepidopterous insect pests, which are causing major threat to our different cash crops, including sugarcane, rice, in cotton ecosystem, even in maize ecosystem, and in some vegetables where there are some Lepidopterous pests. This potential biocontrol agent can effectively be utilized in the it the female search the host egg in the field, target the eggs of the pest in the field, and by inserting their ovipositor, lay its eggs, which definitely kill the young one or the population of the ultimately reduce the population of the pest in the field. This aphid parasite, the aphidius, if starting from the first picture above left, the female is in action to parasitize the aphids colony, and then it goes after parasitizing the aphid colony. The aphid individuals turned into aphid mummies, and ultimately there is no aphids survived in the field, and the mummies serve uh, as a protection place for the uh, immatures of the uh, aphidius parasite, and this emerge out as an adult from the aphid mummies. So this is a way how this aphid parasite works in the field. Either it's wheat ecosystem, maize ecosystem, or some vegetables where there is a population of aphids, different species of aphids it targets in the field. So here is, if you can see that the biological control of aphids, how the aphid parasite turned the aphids into aphid mummies. So aphid mummies mean they are dead, and now they are the potential breeding place for the aphid parasite, which is a biocontrol agent for different aphid species in different agroecosystems. So this is another parasite, two parasite, the Erythmoceras species and the Incarcia species, which are potential parasites of a most lethal pest of whitefly, which is a major problem in the cotton and different even vegetables, causing a severe problem. So this nymphal parasite of whitefly, there are two parasites, the Erythmoceras and Incarcia. We also in our biological control lab at NARC, we did an extensive research work, and we devised a production technology for the these white fly parasites in our labs. So here is a question. As I briefly or in detail I discussed about the microbials. So what are the other type of BCA biocontrol agents which are usually found in the literature about the microbials? As I little bit explained about the microbials, which are those pathogens. So one go and read about how we can categorize the semiochemicals and the natural substances under the umbrella of biocontrol agents. So what are the challenges in applied biological control? As I highlighted that the augmentation based biological control, usually we categorize this majorly under the term of applied biological control. So in the applied biological control or the augmentation based biological control, there are two major steps. First step is the mass production, because without mass production there is no field application of potential biocontrol agents in the agroecosystem, and one could not manage the notorious pest population in the field. So, what are the challenges these days could be faced for the mass production? So, we can go here. The production of high quality natural enemies is crucial both for biological control practice and the user's perception of biological control as a dependable pest management tactic. We need to set the standards for quality control biocontrol agents, periodic confirming of species identification, because sometime during the rearing in the laboratory or in the it could be possible that sometime initially the species could be misidentified, and if at the initial stage if the species is misidentified and when it goes within the field, then there is no desired results can be obtained by using such misidentified biological control agents. Deterioration of stock culture, survival and performance. Periodically need to check the survival and performance for a potential biological control agent that have been reared in the laboratory for a longer period of time. And during the shipping and handling, how to ship different stages, because some biocontrol agents may be released in the field in the adult form, some larval form, or some egg form. So for shipping and handling the different stages based on the requirement or based on the utilization, their utilization in the field, we need to devise the possible shipping and handling procedures, especially for those for the commercial companies, how they are devising these. They need to devise different procedures and techniques for their safe handling from storage to field application. The insect industry should develop standards to promote the reliability of commercially produced biological control agents, which is very important point for the mass production under the augmentation-based biological control. So, what about the field application? What are the challenges we faced, like the adaptation of biological control agents in the adverse climatic conditions? Because these days, sudden climate change due to global warming, the intensive heat, very cold, and some unexpected environmental changes are taking place. So, what could be the fate of such biocontrol agents which have been being reared in the laboratory in the controlled environment? How they can perform in the field? How can they behave in the field when they release? They take from the control or the optimum conditions where they are happily multiplying, but when they go in the field, how they behave, how in the adverse climatic conditions. So what could be their fate and what could be their performance for controlling a certain agricultural pest in the field? So when we talk about the IPM, so in the IPM, we don't rely on a single approach. Not we only talk about or go with the biological control only. We have to use sometimes the safe chemicals, although we consider them safe, but they may have some impact on the natural enemies or the biological control agents. So we need to check. We need to go for the pesticide resistant strains. If we can, uh, one can develop a pesticide resistant strain, it will be good to be utilized in the IPM programs in different agroecosystems. Selection of a suitable strain for augmentation releases is very important. Developing efficient release methods for augmentation is crucial because some methods, some release methods, they may be labor intensive, time consuming. So how we can justify the cost for utilizing these such biological control agents? So this is one of the major challenge. The delivery systems, uniform distribution, because if you are working in the open field or in a large greenhouse, how if there is a population of pest is uniformly distributed in the agroecosystem, so how to distribute potential biocontrol agents to tackle this pest problem? This is another challenge while dealing with the field application of biocontrol agents. Developmental stage for release, as I previously said that for if one can go is going to release the egg stage or the larval stage of the biological control, maybe different procedures or different methods are required. Release rates commercially feasible with pest reduction, because this is one important to, if you talk about the uh, cost benefit uh, ratio, one should need to try to find the release rates for a certain biological control agent while tackling a certain or specific pest problem on a certain crop. So this is a research based study that should be done before utilizing a biological control agent in the field. And the habitat manipulation, sometimes the habitat or the agroecosystem is favorable for the pest but not good for the biological control agents. In that way, how to modify the agroecosystem which is become favorable for the multiplication or for to perform better for biological control agents in the field, like by using some food sprays or some other tactics. How to evaluate when we talk about the augmentative releases, either inoculative or inundative releases, how to evaluate? This is another challenge for most of the potential or the commercial biological control commercial companies which are dealing with the biological control agents or the insectaries. How to evaluate the performance of potential biological control agents in the field. So it goes with the collaboration between insectaries and researchers to investigate how BCAs can be well matched to target prey or habitat. Yeah, definitely habitat is also important along with, because sometimes a same pest behave differently on different crops. If it's in the field, it may behave different, or if it's in under protected cultivations like greenhouses, it may behave different. So accordingly, the performance of the biological control agent may change. Either it increase or may decrease, which become ultimate failure of a designed biological control program for that certain pest. Recommendations should be based on both protected and open field studies or surveys. Yeah, before utilizing a biological control agent, one need to study or evaluate. Either it could be released in the field, or it could be released. It is going to be released in the protected cultivations. Improvement in sampling methods to evaluate the effectiveness of release rates is also a big challenge. How do we tackle the challenge of applied biological control? By reducing the cost of mass rearing and natural enemies manipulation, improving the success rate and predictability of biological control procedures, demonstrating the biological control's effectiveness, ecological benefits, and safety under commercial conditions. So, as we talked about the challenges, so there are some opportunities also there in applied biological control. What could be the opportunities as the biological control relates with the ecological perspective of the entomology? And I believe that it's an exciting science because it constantly incorporates new knowledge and techniques. Whenever a researcher or student or an entomologist goes in the field and observe what's going on in the field or in an agro ecosystem. It may found some new information or some new idea to make some research work to be utilized, or to may explore some new potential biological control agents. So there are some research opportunities related with the research and development work required for the genetic improvement of BCAs, as I talked about that in the field. Now the environment, due to some global warming or the sudden ecological changes, we need some changes in the genetic, to change the genetics of potential biological control agents like trichogramma or some other. If there we can be utilized, make some improvement as a pesticide resistant or some heat tolerant or some, we can say, the climate adaptable, by changing climate adaptable strains of some potential biocontrol agents. We need to do some research in this regard. Pesticide and temperature resistant strains, as I talked about, integration of biological control with chemical control. Yeah, in IPM, when we talk about, we definitely could not skip the chemical control. We definitely, maybe up to 20%, 30%, or 40%, we can reduce the application of chemicals, but we could not skip this important tool of IPM. So, how to integrate the biological with chemical? Can we, as I said, that can we develop some pesticide resistant, or can we develop some safe chemicals which don't have impact on the target specific pesticides, that don't have impact on the population of the natural enemies? So this is another opportunity for research in this biological control scenario. And next is development and improvement in mass production techniques of natural enemies and their hosts. This is one of the important, as I believe, that if one can find or develop a potential mass production technique for a potential biological control agent, it can be like a like a factory, like a business. And similarly, some host insects also very crucial for rearing of certain biological control agents. If I can give the example of a trichogramma. Trichogramma is an egg parasite for the Lepidopterus pest. So without having the host insects like Cytotroga, Cerealela, and the Corsera cephalonica, and some other Lepidopterus that can easily be maintained in the laboratory. So we don't make any production of the trichogramma. So both host insects and the natural enemies, their mass production techniques need to be developed, which should be cost effective, time effective, and the labor effective. The artificial diets, some biocontrol agents are could not develop on artificial diets. They need the natural diets or the natural prey for their mass production. If I talk about some coccinellids, if I'm familiar with a certain coccinellid which is belong to the genus Stithorus, which is commonly called as the spider mite destroyer, and this coccinellid could not be reared on any artificial diet, except we need to provide the spider mites in large numbers if you want to make its mass production in the lab, and can be utilized in the augmentation biological control. But is there any way to develop these ladybirds on artificial diets? So this is another opportunity for research. And similarly, some other insects like Chrysopella larvae. In some cases, there are some possible artificial diets, but it may not be successful for a longer time if we can continue with that one. Similarly, some ladybirds, ladybird beetles, coccineres, which are monophagous on aphids. They need aphids to multiply or to reared in the lab or the controlled conditions. For the standardization of storage, packaging, and shipping, because after mass production in the laboratory, how to store and what conditions, what procedures to store a certain potential biological control, because some companies, they produce these potential biocontrol agents in one country or at one locality, and then they shipped these potential biological control agents to different localities, maybe 6,000 kilometers away from their origin. So how to store, how to package, how to ship, so what are the protocols? So these all things require research and development. And at the end, the efficient field application and evaluation methods, these should also be standardized, and they also provides a good and excellent research opportunity in biological control. In Pakistan, how we can promote the commercial biological control? If maybe some of you are familiar that in Pakistan, maybe before 10 to 15 years, like in 2005 or before that, there is no such awareness about biological control. But after maybe in last few in last 1 to 2 decades, this industry, the biological control concept, is now everyone is familiar with the biological control. Either it goes with the students community, research community, or the stakeholders, which are progressive farmers, the farmers, and some other even some private industries. They now involved in the biological control. However, still we need to be make awareness in the business community, progressive farmers, about the potential utilization and the commercial aspect of biological control in Pakistan, and different potential biological control agents that can be mass reared and can be utilized in different agroecosystems to tackle the problem of different agricultural pests in Pakistan. Collaboration is very important among academia, the international and local, international industry and local investors, to promote this applied biological control in Pakistan. And the demonstration, how to convince the stakeholders that this technology or this applied biological control can work in Pakistan. For that, it's necessary to establish a state-of-the-art beneficial insectary for commercial R&D purpose at national level, and the capacity building and human resource development, because the trained manpower, especially those which have the sound knowledge related with the entomology, either they are students, progressive farmers, businessmen, technicians. This is very important to promote the potential aspect of biological control in Pakistan. Yeah. So here I would like to introduce you the insectary biological control labs, which is working at National Agriculture Research Center in Pakistan, under the umbrella of Pakistan Agricultural Research Council. And this insectary biological control labs, and along with that the IPM labs, previously established in 2011 for the national interest, and a team of entomologists, they worked very hard to establish this. And this insectary biological control labs, equipped with glass houses, greenhouses, insect holding rooms, and it have a controlled environment, atmospheric system which is providing the optimal conditions for the rearing or the mass production of different potential biological control agents, to make some R&D work, not only the biological control agents but also their host insects. This facility serves the needs of federal and provincial researchers and producers for the ultimate benefit of consumers and the environment. And this being utilized as a training center to individuals to work with the commercial insectaries for the effective implementation of biological control strategies. So what is actually the impact of this insectary, which was established back in 2011, and almost 15 years this insectary have been working in National Agriculture Research Center. And this insectary, by utilizing this insectary, the team of entomologists created the awareness among stakeholders, developed the human resource in the other aspect of the applied biological control, and also the technology of for the mass production and field application of some potential biological control agents for trichogramma, for the other some Chrysoperla and some other ladybird beetles successfully transferred to the different provinces, either the government and the private sectors. Trainings, jobs, opportunities, products also developed and make for the international collaborations. And many biological control labs have been established and are actively working throughout the country, both in public and private organizations. And most of you, those who are belong to Pakistan, uh, a total number of 11 biocontrol labs have been established, were established in the Punjab province in the Agriculture Extension Department, and also maybe same number in different sugar mills, the private sector. These labs were established, and they are currently functional, and they are producing different biological control agents like trichogramma or chrysopella. And also in some labs have been established in the KPK, Punjab and Sindh provinces for the mass production of potential biological control agents, and they annually produced thousand numbers of biological control agents for controlling the pests, especially in the sugarcane, in tobacco. Even the Pakistan Tobacco Company, they have also four biocontrol labs, and our insectary, this national level model insectary, which is working in NARC, is providing the backup support for these all locally running insectaries, which are producing the potential biological control agents. Yeah, this is the one of the product. As an example here, I just quoted the trichogramma cars, which was produced by our insectary, and this technology is successfully transferred to the stakeholders in the sugarcane producing areas, both for the progressive farmers, the private sugar industries, and the agriculture extension departments, which produce this trichogramma product, the cars, and they effectively applied in the field, and they almost maybe 60 to 70% the reduction of the use of pesticides in the sugarcane for the control of the sugarcane borers is documented. Yeah, here is the success story, like the biological control of sugarcane borers, how this technology was, the research was initiated in 1992, and after that, how it improved, and at the end, how it's successfully transferred to the stakeholders. And they are now, it's one of the success story in Pakistan related with the augmentation biological control by utilizing the trichogramma for the controlling of sugarcane borers. Yeah, the commercial opportunities for Pakistan for in terms of if you talk about the applied biological control, goes with the business collaboration with international bug factories for technology sharing and local production of biological control agents. Because still to date, uh, based on my personal experience, there is no such biological control commercial bug factory or biological control company is not working in Pakistan. Recently, one of the company which is called as the Grow Live Biologicals, which is actually based in Canada, they have opened a subsidiary in Pakistan, but still they are not making it commercial for the commercial production locally in Pakistan. Business opportunities for local companies to commercialize the indigenous fauna of natural enemies. Yeah, one need to go and to explore the locally available potential biological control agents, and goes for the R&D work for their mass production technologies and for their application. Promotion of organic and sustainable farming in Pakistan. If we talk about organic, then we definitely think an alternate of chemicals, alternate of any uh, synthetic tactic, which is which is safe for the environment, safe for the biodiversity, and safe for the non-target organisms. And it will also create the employment for the young scientists or the entomologists or those stakeholders who want to who is interested in the biological control sector in Pakistan. Yeah, undoubtedly, work on biological control agents has been ongoing in the country for many years. However, the functioning of established biocontrol laboratories initiated by PRC scientists has raised awareness among farmers and policymakers about using insect biocontrol agents instead of insecticides, aligning with the rational use of pesticides. Yeah, we have the expertise and capabilities to establish and operate biological control laboratories on a sustainable basis, even at a larger scale, for the mass production and field application of natural enemies against insect pests in various agroecosystems in Pakistan. For the most effective insect rearing, production, and BCA's management, it is essential to understand the biology and behavior of individual biocontrol agents and their host insect pests. To achieve this, the role of an entomologist is essential, bringing professional expertise grounded in a deep knowledge of insect science. Yeah, so this commercial biological control or the applied aspect of biological control without entomologist, it will not work. So we need entomologist in this business, in this aspect of biological control, and we need to promote the awareness among the policymakers, among the stakeholders, to employ the to create employment for the young entomologists who want to pursue their career in this commercial aspect of entomology. So this is what I talked about, what happened and what's going on in Pakistan related with the biological control. So a little bit, I just want to share some highlights, what's going globally related as innovation in the applied aspect of biological control, especially the mass production and field application of potential biological control agents. Either those can be utilized in the field or protected cultivations. The commercial production and field application of potential biological control agents, there is some steps which involved, especially one those bug factories which involved for the mass production, for their commercialization, their sale of potential biological control agents like Chrysoperla, like some ladybird beetles, some parasites against whitefly, spider mites, thrips, and aphids, millibugs, extras. First, these bug factories, there is a step that they go for the mass production. In the mass production, they need to make sure the quality assurance and the quality control is the preliminary requirements. And the next step goes with the storage. And as I previously mentioned, that their R&D is very strong. They have developed storage procedures or storage standards, each for different biocontrol agents. And even they have some where they based on the applied habitat, where those biocontrol agents they will apply in the field, either in the protected cultivation, in the open field, in the in the local, in the local, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, and then these bug factories, and sorry, excuse me, and then these bug factories have some procedures how to, for the packaging procedures, how to pack their products, and then how to ship beyond the borders. Okay, I think I will wind up this presentation. I just 5 to 10 minutes I will take, and then go for the question answer session. Yeah, so these potential biological control agents, while the mass production, these bug factories, they have certain objectives. When they are going to make a mass production for a certain biological control agents, they have a rigorous procedure, starting from the objectives, the colony establishment, mass rearing, research and development, resources, quality control, production, and the supply. And here are some examples of some commercial bug factories like the Cooper, the BioBest, which are multinational companies dealing in the production and the commercial sale and purchase of the biological control agents throughout the world, with exception. And here is an idea related with the innovation of breeding laboratories, how where is world is going for the mass production of uh, potential biocontrol agents. They introduced an idea for the breeding laboratories, and these laboratories have some key features, like the modularity, consists of separate containers blocks, mobility, scalability. And these breeding laboratories, especially designed for especially some horticultural crops and those major pests, which like whitefly, aphid, thrips, spider mites, and those crops which usually grown in the protected cultivations. And there are some potential biocontrol agents which can be reared in these breeding laboratories like Californicus, Cucumeris, Swirsky, etc. And here is a design for these breeding laboratories. Compartments of breeding lab consist of storage of raw materials, office, warehouse, disinfection, breeding beneficial insects, production of food for insects, oven, laboratory. And what could be the equipment here? Air conditioning system, ventilation system, air purification, water system, sewer system, biosecurity system, filling machine, fridge. So about the application of biological control agents, now some bug factories, they introduce some drone, customized drone technology for the disperse of biocontrol agents with greater accuracy and efficacy over a large area, and they can potentially be utilized in open field conditions in different crops like strawberries to save the labor and time. And here is an automatic machine that can be used for the dispenser for the application of biocontrol agents like predatory mites. It is tractor driven robotic sprayers based. This automatic machine can be utilized both in the open fields and greenhouses on different crops to save the labor and time. And here is a gun which can also be used for the consistent and uniform application of biocontrol agents and their feeds, easily adjustable in different flow rates, both in open field and greenhouses. And based on their R&D, it was checked that the high survival rate of potential biocontrol agents after their application by using this bug flow gun, and it also saved the labor and time. And there is another innovation, the use of banker plants for the application of biocontrol agents. And these banker plants provides resources such as food or hosts to sustain natural enemies population in the greenhouses and open fields. And one of the famous example for the banker plants is aphid banker plants system, which have the oat plants with bird cherry oat aphid for Aphidius culemani pesticide. So finally, we reach at the home tech message for the today's discussion, that biological control is a component of IPM. We have to understand that it's not a separate approach. It should be utilized along with or under the umbrella of IPM in most of the cases, with exception. It's a knowledge-based approach for sustainable pest management. Integration of biological and chemical control possible. Development and improvement of mass rearing techniques are crucial for the applied biological control, and the promotion and awareness of biological control is compulsory for its adoption, especially if we talk about in case of Pakistan, where is awareness in most of the stakeholders is still lacking. With exception, promotion and awareness is a critical part. Pakistan has great potential for commercial biological control, both in the protected and open field cultivations. It's a marketplace for natural enemies business, and also diversity of potential biological control agents have been reported in Pakistan that can be utilized against different insect pests, and the heat and pesticide resistant strains of potential BCS can be explored and developed. And it is, I think, the need of the time, especially in Pakistan agroecosystems, where the intensive application of chemicals uh, is used. So here we need to develop the or go search for the pesticide resistant strains. Commercial use and economic success of a BCA depends on understanding the systematics, biology, and ecology, reducing the costs of mass rearing and marketing, evaluating the commercial scale performance in agricultural and horticultural systems. And finally, what we conclude from today's discussion, biological control is evolving through innovation. When integrated into IPM programs and supported by policy and training, it has the potential to revolutionize pest management for a healthier environment and sustainable agriculture. Thank you very much for your time and for your patience to listen this discussion.
All the participants leave their comment in the comment box, then we read and convey to the sir.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आयशा, कोई क्वेश्चन है तो काइंडली हम डिस्कस कर सकते हैं।
जी सर, हम उसी का वेट कर रहे हैं। स्टूडेंट कमेंट बॉक्स में अपना कमेंट जो है वो लीव कर दें, उसके बाद हम स्क्रीन पे डिस्प्ले करेंगे और देन आप उसका आंसर कर दीजिएगा।
ठीक है, मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ। ठीक है, तो अगर कोई क्वेश्चन
सर एक क्वेश्चन है कि हाउ कैन वी सर आपको स्क्रीन शो हो रही है?
जी मुझे स्क्रीन शो हो रही है, लेकिन ये मेरी आवाज आ रही है वापस। इसको किस तरह ऑफ किया जा सकता है? मुझे ना वॉइस अपनी गूंज रही है आवाज ना।
सर नहीं, हम तक क्लियर आपकी वॉइस आ रही है।
अच्छा हाँ, वो शायद अभी वो दरमियान थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम। मेरे ख्याल में मेरी आवाज ना दोबारा से वो रिपीट होती है, गूंजती है मुझे ना।
ओके
अच्छा, ये क्वेश्चन अच्छा, ये मुझे शायद आवाज़ का थोड़ा सा इशू आ रहा है, गूंज रही है आवाज़ ना।
सर
ओके
ये डिस्टॉर्शन आपकी तरफ ही है, बाकी सबको क्लियर आ रही है।
ओके, सो शुड वी आंसर फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन?
फॉर श्योर सर।
How can we convince farmers for BCAs? Almost every farmer, especially in Pakistan, doing farming for the sake of obtaining high yield and high profit. Even as you say, it is slow method to control pest. ये जो क्वेश्चन है काफ़ी कह लें कि सोशल टाइप का है, और स्पेशली जो एग्रीकल्चर एक्सटेंशन वर्कर्स हैं या जो ऑफिसर जो फील्ड के अंदर जाते हैं, मोस्टली मैं समझता हूँ कि ये उनका एक कॉमन क्वेश्चन भी है। तो आई वुड लाइक टू प्रेफर कि मैं इसको उर्दू में आंसर दूं। और हाईलाइटेड इन माय प्रेजेंटेशन के जो एंटोमोलॉजिस्ट हैं, ये उनकी फील्ड है स्पेशली। इन जनरली तो मैं समझता हूँ कि जो एग्रीकल्चर, और अगर वो इस फील्ड में जॉब कर रहे हैं तो उनकी ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि वो बेस्ड ऑन देयर नॉलेज, आइदर थ्योरेटिकल और प्रैक्टिकल, और जो उनका एक्सपीरियंस है उसकी बेस पे वो फार्मर्स को कंप्रीहेंसिवली उनको के उनको ब्रीफ करें कि बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल को जो है उसको अगर इस्तेमाल करें तो उसके क्या पॉसिबल बेनिफिट हो सकते हैं। तो मैंने ये बताया कि ये बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल इट्स नॉट अ सेपरेट कंपोनेंट, इट शुड बी यूटिलाइज्ड अंडर द अम्ब्रेला ऑफ आईपीएम। और आईपीएम जो अप्रोच है, मैं समझता हूँ इंटीग्रेटेड पेस्ट मैनेजमेंट, आज के दौर में कोई फार्मर ऐसा होगा जो आईपीएम, ठीक है, लेकिन बस अब आपने ऐसा करना है कि उसको आईपीएम जो वो ऑलरेडी कर रहा है, जैसा वो अपनी फील्ड से कह लें कि कुछ जो अल्टरनेट जो होस्ट होते हैं, जो हाइबरनेटिंग प्लेसेस होती हैं जहाँ पे ये सर्वाइव करते हैं पेस्ट वगैरह, उनको रिमूव करता है। कल्चरल
हेलो सर, आर यू देयर?
सर आपका माइक का ना जो क्लोज है आई थिंक ना।
नहीं, वो एक्चुअली मैं बिल्कुल वो लेफ्ट हो गया था इसमें से ना, स्टूडियो से। तो अभी आवाज क्लियर आ रही है मेरी?
यस सर।
तो ये आंसर इस क्वेश्चन का यही है कि एज एग्रीकल्चर ऑफिसर आपने फार्मर को सिर्फ बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल का नहीं बताना, आपने उसको पूरा जो एक अप्रोच है आईपीएम की उसके बारे में बताना है। और ऑलरेडी वो इंटेंशनली या अनइंटेंशनली ये चीजें कर रहा है, सिर्फ आपने अपने प्रैक्टिकल जो नॉलेज है या थ्योरेटिकल जो आपके पास नॉलेज है, एक्सपीरियंस, उसकी बेस पे आपने उसको, यही तो मतलब एक एग्रीकल्चर एक्सटेंशन वर्कर की, एग्रीकल्चर ग्रेजुएट की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि वो एक जो कंप्लीट पैकेज है या जो कंप्लीट अप्रोच है एक पेस्ट को मैनेज करने की इन एग्रो इकोसिस्टम, वो फार्मर को ब्रीफ करे। तो ये ट्राई अगेन है। पहली दफ़ा में डेफिनेटली फार्मर्स हैं वो एक ट्रेडिशनल मेथड्स या उनके साथ स्टिक हैं, वो क्विक रिजल्ट चाहते हैं, लेकिन हमने सिर्फ क्वांटिटी नहीं बल्कि क्वालिटी ऑफ जो एग्रीकल्चरल जो प्रोड्यूस है उसके ऊपर फोकस करना है। वरना फिर प्रॉब्लम ये होगी कि अगर हम जल्दबाजी में या क्वांटिटी के चक्कर में फिर हम पेस्टिसाइड्स का एक्सेसिव या इंटेंसिव एप्लीकेशन करेंगे, तो उससे हाल यही होगा कि हमारे फिर बहुत सारी जो कह लें जो कंसाइनमेंट्स जाती हैं, जब एक्सपोर्ट होती हैं तो वो रिजेक्ट हो जाती हैं या उनके अंदर पेस्टिसाइड रेजिड्यूज डिटेक्ट होते हैं, जिससे राइस के केस में हुआ है पाकिस्तान के अंदर। सो इट्स आवर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एज एन एग्रीकल्चर ग्रेजुएट or scientists that we need to educate the farmers community or all the stakeholders which are involving in the agricultural production. Thank you very much. So is there any other question?
Yes sir. Next question है Saqib Imran। वो कह रहे हैं कि mass production is expensive and no capacity building or technical staff available।
देखिए, मैस प्रोडक्शन एक्सपेंसिव हो भी सकती है, यही चीज़ तो बेसिकली फाइंड आउट करनी है। जो मैंने अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ में बताई है ना कि जो रिसर्च अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल के अंदर, ख़ास तौर पे एंटोमोलॉजिस्ट के लिए या रिसर्चर्स के लिए, या इवन दो के जो कमर्शियल स्केल पे इस बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल को करना चाहते हैं, तो उसमें एक ये जो उसकी मास प्रोडक्शन है, मतलब मैंने जैसा बताया ना कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कि एक्सप्लोरेशन है पोटेंशियल बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल एजेंट्स की, तो ये एक रिसर्च अपॉर्चुनिटी है। फिर जो मास प्रोडक्शन है वहां पे जो कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव, टाइम इफेक्टिव, यानी कि जो मास प्रोडक्शन टेक्निक्स हैं उनको डिवाइस करना, ठीक है। तो ये एट द इनिशियल कॉस्ट बाज़-औक़ात थोड़ा सा ये फील होती है कि वो कॉस्टली है, लेकिन जब एक चीज़ डेवलप हो जाती है तो वो एक एसेट बन जाता है, वो आपकी पैटेंट बन जाती है। तो अगर आप इसको ज़रा बिजनेस पर्सपेक्टिव से देखें या कमर्शियल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें, अगर कोई साइंटिस्ट, एंटोमोलॉजिस्ट किसी भी एक बायो कंट्रोल एजेंट जो कि पोटेंशियल हो, जिससे मैं अगर ट्राइकोग्रामा की बात करूं, तो मतलब एक ट्राइकोग्रामा है, और आप देखें ट्राइकोग्रामा को पूरा पाकिस्तान मतलब ये एक सक्सेस स्टोरी है। इवन अगर आप मैं खुद कह लें, मेरा पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस हुआ, मैं कुछ शुगर मिल्स में गया सिंध के अंदर, वहाँ पे मैंने देखा, वहाँ पे एक शुगर मिल है, वहाँ पे वो कहते हैं कि जी हमारी इतनी डिमांड है इसकी ट्राइकोग्रामा कार्ड्स की, क्योंकि एक वो टेक्निक डिवाइस हो चुकी है। अब उसको जितना भी आप इंप्रूव कर सकें, उसमें कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव, टाइम इफेक्टिव, लेबर इफेक्टिव, वो चीज़ें आप डेवलप करें। यही तो R&D है कि विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम चीज़ें इवॉल्व हो रही हैं। लेकिन इनिशियली तौर पे डेफिनेटली कुछ चीज़ें होती हैं, लेकिन वो कहते हैं जी इतनी डिमांड है कि हमारे पास वो फार्मर्स को हम वो सेल करते हैं कार्ड्स, ये जो प्राइवेट शुगर मिल्स हैं, कि उनके पास डिमांड पूरी नहीं होती। तो वो ही द ओनर्स टोल्ड अस दैट नाउ दे आर एक्सपेंडिंग देयर बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल लैब्स एंड दे hired a PhD doctor to supervise that biological control lab. So इसमें यह है कि इम्प्रूवमेंट के चांसेस हैं, और ये एक R&D वर्क है कि किस तरह हम कॉस्ट और टाइम इफेक्टिव जो मास प्रोडक्शन टेक्निक्स हैं पोटेंशियल बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल एजेंट्स की, वो डिवाइस कर सकें। मोहम्मद शेराज साहब, हाउ कैन बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल स्ट्रेटजीज बी इफेक्टिवली इंटीग्रेटेड इनटू द मैनेजमेंट ऑफ फॉल आर्मी वर्म इन स्मॉल होल्डर फार्मिंग सिस्टम एंड व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस एंड बेनिफिट्स। देखें, ये तो आपने एक मुझे टाइटल दे दिया है, एक जिसके ऊपर एक पूरा वेबिनार किया जा सकता है। मेरा कुछ प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस भी है फॉल आर्मी वर्म की रेयरिंग, और कुछ हम लोग यहाँ पे काम भी कर रहे हैं। NARC के अंदर हमारी अभी एक स्टूडेंट हैं जिन्होंने PhD की रिसर्च इसके ऊपर मुकम्मल की है। देखें, फॉल आर्मी वर्म, सबसे पहले तो इसको आपने अंडरस्टैंड करना है कि ये एक इन्वेसिव पेस्ट है जिसका ओरिजिन अमेरिका है। अमेरिका से ये निकला, ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अंदर गया, अफ्रीका में गया, फिर एशिया में आया, फिर अब ये पूरी दुनिया के अंदर फैल गया है। और मेजर इसका जो थ्रेट है या जो इसका होस्ट प्लांट है वो मेज है। तो ये एक इन्वेसिव वो है। मैंने जैसा बताया कि ये जो बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल है ये अंडर द IPM है, और ये एक नॉलेज बेस्ड और इंटेलेक्चुअल अप्रोच है। तो सबसे पहले बाय यूटिलाइजिंग द नॉलेज, R&D एक्सपीरियंस और लिटरेचर रिव्यू, इन चीज़ों को देखते हुए ये फाइंड आउट करना है कि इसका ओरिजिन क्या है, पेस्ट की नेचर क्या है। तो यहाँ पे हमने कौन सी टाइप ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल अडॉप्ट करना है। ठीक है, तो इसमें मैं समझता हूँ एज इन्वेसिव, तो इसके जो पोटेंशियली तौर पे अगर इसको मैनेज करना है तो इसके लिए क्लासिकल बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल को फॉलो करना होगा। हाउएवर क्लासिकल बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल की डिटेल में आप चले जाएं, देख लें कि आपने इसका जो ओरिजिनल हैबिटेट है, बहुत सारे कंट्रीज इसको मैनेज भी कर रहे हैं, तो वो जहां पर भी किसी को अगर पोटेंशियल बायो कंट्रोल एजेंट मिलता है तो दूसरा या जो दूसरी लोकेलिटी के साइंटिस्ट हैं वो वहाँ अप्रोच करते हैं और उनके साथ कोलैबोरेशन करते हैं बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल अप्रोच, और अलोंग विद कि जो लोकली पोटेंशियल अगर कोई बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल एजेंट्स अवेलेबल हैं उनको यूटिलाइज किया जाए। ये तो सिर्फ बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल के एस्पेक्ट की मैंने बात की। एक कम्प्रीहेंसिव, इवन विद इन बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल भी आपको कम्प्रीहेंसिव अप्रोच या जो वो है परसेप्शन उसको लेके चलना होगा। लेकिन साथ साथ इसका ये है कि जो आईपीएम जो है वो इसका बहुत ज़रूरी है, और ये पाकिस्तान के अंदर ये इसीलिए इतनी तेजी के साथ ये फैला है। मेरे ख्याल में फर्स्ट टाइम ये 2019 के अंदर रिपोर्ट हुआ सिंध के अंदर, उसके बाद डिफरेंट लोकेलिटीज के ऊपर ये रिपोर्ट हुआ, और अब ये कह लें कि एक मेजर प्रॉब्लम बन चुका है खासतौर पे मेज के ऊपर ना। तो इसका कंट्रोल अभी इसीलिए पॉसिबल नहीं हो पा रहा कि ये एक इन्वेसिव स्पीशी है। तो इसको एक होलिस्टिक और एक कम्प्रीहेंसिव जो आईपीएम जो स्ट्रेटजीज हैं उनको फॉलो करते हुए फॉल आर्मी वर्म की जो प्रॉब्लम है उसको कह लें कि टेकल किया जा सकता है। लेकिन स्टिल ये कह लें कि बीइंग इन्वेसिव और एग्जॉटिक है, ये प्रॉब्लम काज कर रहा है, और अभी तक पाकिस्तान में इसके हवाले से कोई सक्सेस स्टोरीज नहीं हो सकी। लेकिन पहले भी कुछ इस तरह के पेस्ट आए थे, अगर मैं एग्जांपल दूं मिलीबग की, मिलीबग पाकिस्तान में आया, उसने बड़ी तबाही की, और उसके अलावा भी कुछ ऐसे इन्वेसिव स्पीशीज थे, लेकिन मिलीबग को बड़े अच्छे तरीके से कंट्रोल किया गया। तो विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम आई होप के सम गुड आईपीएम प्रोसीजर्स जो हैं वो पाकिस्तान में इंशाल्लाह इसके अगेंस्ट अडॉप्ट किए जा सकते हैं। जी हसन अली, ट्राइकोडर्मा इज बेस्ट बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल एजेंट फॉर सॉइल बोर्न फंगल डिजीज। ट्राइकोडर्मा बिल्कुल मैंने इसका नाम सुना है, लेकिन इन डिटेल मेरा प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है। जैसा मैंने बताया कि ये मेरे ख्याल में ट्राइकोडर्मा एक फंगाई है, और ये मतलब यूटिलाइज इसको किया जा रहा है ख़ासतौर पे सॉइल बोर्न जो पेस्ट हैं या फंगल डिजीजेज हैं उनके अगेंस्ट। लेकिन इस हवाले से मेरा प्रैक्टिकल कोई ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है कि मैं इसके ऊपर मज़ीद कुछ इसको मज़ीद थोड़ा सा खुद से इसके बारे में पढ़ें और मुझे भी बताएं। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir, for such a rich and informative presentation. On behalf of everyone present and from the University of Pakistan, I sincerely thank to Dr. Hafiz Muhammad Saqib Mushtaq for sharing his time, knowledge, and passion about this session. We learned not only about the technical innovations but also about the practical implications for the farmer, policymaking, and researcher alike. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you for all the participants. Stay safe, stay sustainable. Allah Hafiz.
थैंक यू वेरी मच आयशा,
Thank you very much, Aisha.
and I am very
I
thankful
am very
to the
thankful to
University of
the West.
Pakistan for providing me this opportunity to share my knowledge with the students and all other stakeholders which are interested in biological control. And I hope you guys will continue doing this such great job for the humanity and for the science and for the knowledge sharing. Thank you very much. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you all for joining us. Until the next time. Allah Hafiz.